Hey guys, it's Kelsey. I am here with a quadruple challenge layout today. So it's kind of a triple. So first one is going to be for Secret Not Secret Kit Cup. I'm using that #1 photo there as my inspiration, which kind of goes along with this one. The Scraptacular Cropping Club has an all white challenge this week, so I'm kind of pairing those two together. I'm also doing Mercy Tiara's Winter Bingo Challenge. Those are the items I decided to use, as well as Scrapbook Your Joy's Inspired by Music Challenge to title your layout after a song. So I'm going to start out, I just basically pulled out everything white that I had, and that's kind of where I started. I'm matting these photos together and just matting them on a plain piece of white paper, and then I'm going to use a Swiss dot white cardstock as my background and do some mixed media with that stencil you see there. And I am using the Heidi Swap, what is it called? The metallic texture paste. And surprisingly enough, it is the white one, but final product using that on actual white makes it look a little champagne-y colored. Still turned out super pretty, but yes, I was not aware of that, so you'll see that as we get going. But I'm just washi taping the stencil to the background so it doesn't shift as I'm putting my mixed media down, and I am just using a palette knife to smear that around. But I really liked that inspiration photo of Red Riding Hood in that drawing of a wolf. I really liked having that colored focal element and then all of the black and white around it. So ideally, initially I thought I was going to have my colored photo and then I was going to use all black and white papers. I liked that idea. I really thought that would have mimicked that inspiration photo really well. But after I realized I wanted to do this with the Scraptacular Cropping Club challenge, I thought that would add an extra layer to it. Just go for it and make it all white. I thought that was really cool. And that way I kind of knock out two birds with one stone. But I like having this colored photo with everything else around it being white. I've never done that before, and it was a little tricky, but it was a lot of fun. So I am going to use this floral wood veneer flowers. Was one of the things in my recipe from the bingo challenge, and I'm just going to alter them by using white acrylic paint and painting them white. So that's what I'm doing now, and you can really see how that metallic texture paste dried. It's super shimmery. And then that card that I used as my main horizontal layer, Marcus actually picked up from work. They were throwing it away, and it's a really nice corrugated cardstock that had a cutout of some stars on it. So I thought that would be a cool element, and I knew he would really enjoy and get a kick out of the fact that I incorporated it on a page, because he whenever someone's throwing away something kind of scrapbooky, he always snags it for me in case I can use it. So that came from him, so that's a little bit of Marcus. But I'm just layering up a doily and a glassine bag. I think the key with monochromatic layouts, especially if it's going to be all white, is mixing textures, mixing medias, and the feel of things. So the paper, the glassine bag, the mixed media. You see those white glitter enamel dots I'm going to pull in. I also use white brads and white thread, so I'm pulling in as much different type of texture that I can, because with it being all white, that's really the only way you can differentiate things, is between having that dimension and that texture and that difference in look. But I am going to stamp and emboss again. I don't know, I'm back on my kick, I guess. So for the alphabets, I decided, well, I needed 2 separate alphabets in 2 separate sizes as one of my recipe elements for the bingo challenge. And I knew that I was going to use thickers for one of the words, but I needed a smaller alphabet. So I found my stamping alphas. So I decided to do part of my title by stamping and embossing, and then the rest of it in the thickers. And I am titling this Good Day Sunshine after the Beatles song. This is another one of the layouts for Mother's Day when me and my mom went to a botanical garden. And me and my mom, whenever we're in the car, when we're going around garage sailing, running errands, we always have the Beatles on. So whenever I hear the Beatles, it's very nostalgic and makes me think of her. And I just thought this song with this layout, it just fit with the day, and it just brought back memories of the day. So I thought it was super appropriate to use that song as this title. So that's why I decided to go with that song. But I'm just trying to get that down. I do have to Frankenstein a few letters here. Again, this is in my album, so I don't mind if the letters are a little Frankensteined, because it's just my album. But I did have the Frankenstein, the N's, and the E. But it turned out okay. Then I'm just going to tape that vellum down with my double-sided tape. There we go. And then stitching was another thing, another recipe from that bingo board. So I'm just going to do a back stitch across the entire bottom portion of this page. I am starting to learn all of my stitches, guys. So thank you everyone who responded the last layout I stitched on. I did learn that was called the chain stitch. I also learned the stitch that I normally do is called the straight stitch. Didn't know what that one was called. It was just my normal hand stitching. But this one I tried a back stitch, and I really like the way that looks. I think it uses up more thread just because you're going forwards and then leaping backwards and then jumping forwards again. But I didn't mind that, and I think the end result is a little bit cleaner and more uniform than my typical straight stitch, so I enjoyed that, and just trying a new stitch, so I thought that was super cool. So yeah, I just did just a plain simple back stitch across the entire bottom down there. And then I did go back and do a second layer of paint on those flowers, so now that those are dry, I'm just going to put those in 3 separate areas. And then I'm going to put, I only have 3 white brads left. I have 1 large one and 2 small ones. So I'm going to put 1 brad with each flower. And so that's how I'm going to do the embellishment clusters. And I put those enamel dots away at first because I figured if I use the brads, I don't need to use the enamel dots. But I've had those enamel dots for a while now, and I finally have a good reason to use the glittery white ones. So I bring them back out again, and I just do 3 little clusters in 3 separate areas of those to get those used up. And I do like that I went back and added those. It's a different touch and a different texture, so... But here are the close-ups. You can really see all the difference in the textures there. I really enjoyed this one. So yeah, this was a fun one. I really liked doing it. Thanks guys for watching. Bye.